So now we're going to turn to our top story, something that we all rely on for letters, medicines, whether it's insulin or something else, ballots, the stuff we buy online. We're talking about the United States Post Office. While it impacts our lives almost every day, it's been in trouble financially for a long time. Tonight we want to zero in on some changes that appear likely to happen. Supporters say it will save the Postal Service. So there's something called the Postal Service Reform Act. It sailed through the U.S. House last week with bipartisan support. It promises to save $50 billion over the next decade in two ways: requiring retired postal employees to enroll in Medicare when eligible, and also dropping a previous mandate that forced the agency to cover its health care costs years in advance. The legislation would also require the USPS to create an online dashboard with delivery time data. It's part of an effort to increase transparency. Every Democrat in Washington, D.C. in the House voted for this, along with a majority of Republicans, including all GOP representatives from New York State. It was headed to the Senate, where it seemed it was going to pass, but it hit an unexpected snag last week. Here to explain what happened is the co-sponsor of the legislation, Congressman Brian Higgins of Buffalo. We appreciate you coming on. First, tell us about this bill. It is supported by most lawmakers. You know, I think the Postal Service is one of the few things left in our society that has bipartisan support. Most people agree we've got to have it, you got to fix it. It looked like that was going to happen, passed in the House, it went to the Senate. What happened? Why isn't this done now?
Well, it'll pass. It's just dealing with the arcane rules of the Senate. But the reality is, as you said, Michael, the United States Post Office origins date back to 1775. Benjamin Franklin was the first Postmaster General of the United States. People love the institution. 6,000 Western New Yorkers, military veterans, good people, hardworking people, people proud to be part of the United States Postal Service tradition in America. Congress in 2006 basically tried to destroy it, tried to eliminate it by imposing these mandates which undermined the United States Postal Service's financial viability. This bill restores the financial viability, increases transparency, increases delivery and efficiency, and everybody has experienced over the last several years delayed delivery times, etc. So this will go a long way. As you said, it's bipartisan, and it's a bill that will save the United States Postal Service $50 billion over the next 10 years.
So you talked about at the center of this proposal really is just saving the Postal Service, because that's how dire the financials of this agency were. But how much does it improve service as well? I mean, you talked about some of the problems that we've noticed, some of them pandemic related, some staffing related. But, you know, it's not like the Postal Service has been running that well over the past few years. Does it also address some of those things?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a bill in 2006. It required this mandate that is not required of any federal agency or private business, and that's to pre-fund healthcare services. So about 25% of employees of the Postal Service are not taking advantage of Medicaid and Medicare, despite the fact that they are eligible to do that. That will go a long way. That will save probably about $22 billion over the next 10 years. But there was also this ridiculous mandate that they pre-fund healthcare benefits over an extended period of time for both retirees and employees. That mandate will be removed, thus saving the Postal Services $27 billion. So the whole idea is to create a greater level of transparency, remove these unnecessary and unprecedented mandates so that the Postal Service can be profitable, and it will as soon as this bill is signed into law.
You said at the top of this interview that that is going to happen. It's just a matter of time and working through some of these rules. The Senate is now in recess. We had Chuck Schumer here in Buffalo earlier today because they're not in Washington, D.C. this week. Are you confident that once they get back, that there isn't going to be some other, arcane Senate rule that gets in the way of this? I mean, it seems like there are all the Democrats in the Senate and at least 14 Republicans, so that gets you past the 60 vote threshold, you would think.
Well, the Senate rules are arcane, and they should get rid of the filibuster. That said, I think given the overwhelming majority of House members, both Democrats and Republicans, that support this bill, you will find, I think, a similar situation in the Senate. They just need to get to it because we need to save the United States Postal Service. As I said, 6,000 people in our community, in our neighborhoods here in Buffalo and Western New York, people that I know, people that you know, good, hardworking people that are proud to be part of that institution. They want to continue to serve the people of our community, and whether it's healthcare service, whether it's employment, whether it's newspaper distribution, so much is dependent on an efficient, effective delivery of postal services in Buffalo and Western New York, but throughout the nation as well.
Congressman Brian Higgins represents Buffalo and the entire 26th district for now, right? With redistricting, we'll see how your number changes. Thanks for coming on, sir. Good to see you.
Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
All right.